Hi, my name is Nikolai Yusupov. In this video I'd like to show you how to mount this defibrillator tray to your stretcher. And here I'm holding the operation maintenance manual, right? And this is actually called rugged defibrillator tray. One thing you want to note, right, when it comes, it has these belts that secures all your equipment to this tray, right? If you notice, right, this particular one doesn't currently have it. We need to find them and attach them, and the reason for that is that manufacturer guidelines state that anytime you are having patient that you're transporting in an ambulance that's moving, everything must be strapped up. And the reason why is that if you come to a complete stop, this defibrillator or anything else you have on here is going to be flying towards the patient, right? So you want to avoid that. So now I'm going to disassemble it and show you how to essentially connect it, how to put it on. Here I'm actually utilizing a strap that I took off a longboard, right? And if you happen to be missing these straps, you could use this, right? Just make sure you secure it nice and tight, right? So I'm going to take this off, right, and show you this assembly, right, and then show you the assembly of it. Now, this particular motor that I currently have on top of it, we placed this on a scale in the hospital with everything that's in it, right? Here we have pads, we have our A-line cables, we have also some supplies like capnography, right, glucometer, and here we have your blood pressure cuff, pulse oximeter, and so forth, right? So with this housing, everything that's in here, this is also has extended features, right, with a A-line or CVP monitoring, hemodynamic monitoring. All of this weighs 27.5 pounds, right? So bear this in mind. And when I take this off, if you look at this Stryker tray, right, it tells you 30 pounds, right? 30 pounds. So they advocate, right, to have about 30 pounds of weight, which is 13.6 kg, right? So once you have this defibrillator on it, right, there's not you know, you're not going to be sticking massive things on here. Perhaps you know, you may consider placing like the suction unit, you know, if you have someone on a chest tube for suctioning, and you know, maybe something else, but certainly not something heavy, right? And now let me show you how to essentially assemble it. Very important feature, right? You notice the IV pole is up, and it must be up in order for you to mount this tray. There's a couple of things that to note to disassemble it, right? I find this red tab and I push it down. Once I push it down, this hook unlatches, right? And this is what keeps it latched onto the stretcher. I do the same thing on the other side. Red tab, unlatch the hook, make sure it's free. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up off the stretcher. And you notice, right, it has two different types of legs, right? This leg that's missing, like one side I should say, is towards the head end of the stretcher. This leg, right, has both of them, is towards the foot end, right? So once I'm holding in my hand, so let me see if I can you come back a little bit more so it's like a full view. So when I'm mounting this on the stretcher, right, these legs are towards the head end, and then these legs are towards the foot end. When are we going to be actually doing this? Once the patient is on our stretcher, right, we secured it, and then usually what I do, all the cables that are running from the patient, like your 3-lead, 12-lead, your blood pressure, right, your capnography, I usually bring everything together, right? You may even put some tape around it, so it's at the foot end by the legs. Once we move the patient over, right, this is when this is mounted, right? Just to show you, this is how it looks when it's in right, disassembled position. This is how you would bring it up. If your pole is, as I showed you, right, if your pole is down like so, right, you see how it's in the way from the legs to be mounted. So first thing you're going to do is elevate your pole, right, make sure it's secure, and then I'll show you, right, I've moved the sheets over so you can see the actual mounting. So open, right, and then do one side at a time, right? So this goes here, this goes flush here, right? And then I'm going to check on the other side. So what I want to make sure, both of these legs are seated, and then seated, right? So now we have the hooks. How the hooks work, right? You have these straps here if you need to make your adjustments, right? if you need to go up and down, right? So you could make adjustments. This is already preset for this particular stretcher, so I know it will fit. What I do is I move my hook under the undercarriage, and then I find this red tab, and what I do is I lift it up until I hear an audible click. Once I know I have an audible click, I know this side is engaged, right? Then I come on this side, I find my hook, right? See the hook? I go under the carriage, and then find my red tab. I want to hear an audible click. Once I hear an audible click, I know it's confirmed. I just double check that it's in fact sturdy, right? Nothing is moving. What you don't want to do is just place a bunch of equipment and then have it crash on your patient, right? So now it's nice and sturdy. I place my monitor on top of it, right? And I'll show you two different configurations. So let's say this could be one configuration. Once that's up, right? I told you about right, securing it with the belt. Right. So normally you have the small bolts that are running. If you do not have those, right, you could just run your strap through here. And then when you are actually securing it, make sure it doesn't obstruct your view. Right, you don't want it to be like this, right? You can see half the screen. I'll be to the side, and then tighten this up. Right, and then I put another one here, right? So that your monitor is secure. I'll show you something else, another configuration, right? So this tray is up like this. You could put your monitor sideways. And then here, if the patient had the chest tube, right? I have my suction that I could place here, right? So this would be my suction unit. I connect this to my chest tube, and I have my monitor connected. Again, double strap it, right? So nothing is mobile, and then you're ready to go, right? For these patients. So this is how we mount our defibrillator tray, and the manufacturer says at 30 pounds, right? So don't stack too many things on it.